Hi everyone, welcome back to the Cailin YouTube channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today we're going to be looking at your September 2025 horoscopes. You can watch your horoscope for your ascendant, sun, and moon sign. In fact, I recommend that you do watch for all three because that way you'll have a really well-rounded idea of what you can expect for the month ahead. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook. If you're wanting more regular astrological updates, you can follow me. It's the same handle, which is Cailin. So September is a really exciting month because we have eclipse season. We've got a total lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces and a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So if you're a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, definitely be sure to watch your horoscope for that sign because it will be very impactful for you, this eclipse, that is to say. And lastly, just letting you know that I'm actually referring back to my old format where I'm just flowing through the astrological events from the beginning of the month through till the end of the month. And the reason for that is twofold. Firstly, a lot of you said that you prefer those horoscopes, which I was doing before, that they have more flow, and you know what, I tend to agree with you. And secondly, they were taking me probably about twice as long to just execute in totality. So I hope you enjoyed this horoscope. If you do, please give the video a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and it would really help me if you could share this video around just to try and grow the channel that little bit more. Thank you so much, and now let's get into your horoscope. Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your September 2025 horoscope. September is a really big month for you guys because being one of the four mutable signs means that you're going to be heavily impacted by the two eclipses that we have during the month. So we've got a total lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 7th, and then we've got a new moon solar eclipse in Virgo on the 21st. But let's start from the top. As the month begins, Venus will still be transiting your 9th house in the sign of Leo. Whichever house Venus transits, this is where we can experience some kind of pleasure or derive some kind of joy from whatever that house represents. So the 9th house rules over things like travel, higher education, spirituality, religion, and politics. So it basically represents all of our belief systems. So Venus transiting the 9th house could see you maybe learning about something which is going to benefit you in some way, shape, or form. This can see you possibly having the opportunity to travel, to go on a vacation, or to maybe even fall in love or have some kind of romantic encounter while you're abroad. Or it could be with someone who is traveling through your home country on a different note. There is the opportunity here to maybe experience romance with someone that you are attending college with or university. Okay, obviously this isn't going to apply to everyone, so just take it as it resonates. The 9th house rules over things like coaching and mentorship. So Venus transiting the 9th house could see you yourself deriving some kind of enjoyment or satisfaction from being a coach or being a mentor to another person. But on the other side of that, maybe you are receiving positive words from your own coach or someone that you consider to be a mentor or even just a person that you highly respect. On the 1st of September, Saturn is going to re-enter the sign of Pisces. So Saturn will spend another 5.5 months finishing up its transit through Pisces in your 4th house. The 4th house in astrology rules over family, our history, as in our ancestry, our lineage. It also rules over things like property and living circumstances. So because Saturn is closing out this transit or this chapter that started in March 2023, not to mention a 29.5-year cycle, this could indicate that when it comes to family, there may be a crisis that occurs maybe in the first couple weeks of the month maybe even in the first couple weeks of September when we have Saturn at 29 degrees. But ultimately, the point here is that you are concluding some kind of difficult cycle or hardship or challenge that has somehow connected to your family, your ancestry, your lineage, like where did I come from, wanting to know more details about that, maybe getting in touch with family from afar. Or it can relate to a really challenging situation with your property, whether that's property that you own, that you are wanting to sell, or even just your living situation. So a few different ways that this can play out, remembering that it is a general reading. With parents, maybe you are having to put some hard boundaries in place. And doesn't matter whether your parents are 40 years old, 50 years old, or even quite elderly. This is really about addressing the elephant that's in the room and rebuilding that relationship anew. Or in some instances, maybe you're actually wanting to take a big step back from family, from your parents. I know some of you will probably go no contact, but of course, the prerogative is yours. This is a general reading, so just take it as it resonates for you. With elderly parents, maybe there've been some challenges for you on and off since, the last few years especially. So maybe this has led to you having a lot of responsibilities that you've had to carry out for elderly parents, organizing aged care facilities, caregiving needs and responsibilities, and so on and so forth. But, this can also relate to children. So maybe you are going through this last period. I mean, not that there won't always be challenges with kids, but maybe you've had to really refine and come up with a new system for how you enforce boundaries with your children, or how to go about discipline, right? Whether you believe in grounding your children, or, what is the best way to be a parent and to step into that authority figure role, but balancing out all of the other needs and hats that you would wear as a parent. So long story short, with family, there may be a conflict that you are trying to figure out or sort out with a family member, or that relates to a family member once and for all. Now, a different way that could play out for some of you is that you may be deciding whether or not you want to take that step and become a parent yourself. So you could be preparing for parenthood or to expand your family further. With property and living circumstances, maybe you are looking at renovating, expanding your property further. Maybe you are trying to become a property investor, or perhaps you're looking to purchase a new property altogether. Even if you are renting, maybe you're having issues with your landlord or with the property manager. Maybe you are wanting to relocate. If you do have investment properties, maybe the tenants have been causing you some kind of issue. So perhaps you're looking at getting new tenants in, but there could have been some red tape here that you're having to contend with. On a different note, Saturn through your 4th house could have seen you dealing with issues with the foundation of the place. Okay, so that could be like pouring the concrete, how the house was built. These are the things that Saturn rules over. To be fair, this also could have involved things like mold, or feeling like there's something in the house that's making you unwell. And I say that because of the Pisces element here. In any case, the next 5.5 months are all about overcoming these issues, overcoming challenges, whatever these are, okay? It's going to be different for everyone. For some of you, this could relate to siblings because Saturn rules over the 3rd house, or trying to raise the funds or get the resources required to help family, or to, change your living situation. So persist with it. There's definitely help on the horizon. Remember that Jupiter is trining Saturn throughout this process, so that is certainly going to be very, very helpful, and it can aid you in overcoming these trials and tribulations. On the 5th of September, Mars in Libra in your 11th house is going to square Jupiter in Cancer in your 8th house at 18 degrees. So wherever Mars transits, this is where we're putting energy and effort into that house. So Mars in your 11th house can see you wanting to put effort into generating a passive or residual form of income or increasing that figure, wanting to put effort and energy into social contacts, business contacts, friendships, networking, maybe getting investors on board, or perhaps looking at innovating something new inventions, new technology, or acquainting yourself with AI. Now, the challenge here could be with mutual resources, with Jupiter in your 8th house. So it's like having enough money between you and another person to be able to expand socially, expand your network, expand in a business sense, or simply towards your long-term goals, projects, and dreams. So there may also be some sort of challenge here around being vulnerable when it comes to making friends, okay? Because Jupiter in your 8th house is asking you to be more vulnerable, to trust other people, and to get outside of your comfort zone. But, the square to Mars in the 11th house could see you wanting to like put on a brave face and come across as strong and powerful and not really wanting to let people in. Okay, so because Jupiter rules over your 1st house as well as your 4th house, around the 5th of September, questions or conversations that could come up may relate to family and children, property in your living situation, or maybe even your career, like starting your own business or just your path in life. On the 7th or the 8th of September, depending where you live in the world, there will be a total lunar eclipse in your 4th house at 15 degrees. And it will, of course, be squaring you. So the Sagittarians who will be the most impacted would be those at 15 degrees, but even plus or minus about 5 degrees. So if you're a Sagittarius between 10 and 25 degrees, then that would be the group of you who will be the most impacted. Ultimately, total lunar eclipses represent a really powerful ending of a cycle or seeing some kind of conclusion or results, right? Like the fruits of your labor, especially because this eclipse will actually be trining Jupiter in Cancer at 19 degrees in your 8th house. So this can see there being a big decision that is made as it relates to your property and living situation. It doesn't mean that you are executing it or actioning it in the month of September. It could just be that decision is made and now I am aware of how I want to progress things. So this could relate to buying, selling, moving, renting, upsizing, changes to the title, subdividing property, even inheritances with the trine to Jupiter in your 8th house. Or perhaps this is to do with the developing of land. Okay, so there may actually be an opportunity here where you're able to receive help from someone else through their mutual resources. So that could be accessing trust money or inheritance money early, or receiving an inheritance, maybe inheriting a property or a parcel of land, maybe buying with another person. Someone could be assisting you financially. All right, so the shoe can be on the other foot, given that Jupiter is your ruling planet. So you may be helping out a family member. Maybe you are going to assist someone with their living situation or someone who is in your family. For others of you, this could be the time where you're deciding that you want to start a family, that you want to get pregnant, or maybe finding out that you are going to become a parent or maybe even a grandparent. So if you have dependents, whether these are children or elderly family members, maybe your own parents or even grandparents. This can be a time where you're making important decisions on their behalf. For some of you, maybe these caregiving needs are drawing to a close. As an example, maybe your child is an adult, maybe they're moving out, moving in with a partner, right? So this could also see you discovering important information about your ancestry and about your lineage. In any case, it is a powerful time for emotional healing and for emotional release and even overcoming conflicts or disagreements, particularly with family members, whether they are still living or not. And, you can even just let go of past traumatic events, even if you're no longer in contact with that person, or even if they've passed on. It's just like, I'm okay now. I'm at peace with this relationship, how it was, how it is, how it ended, where it's going, and so on and so forth. And, for a select few of you, a reconciliation with a family member could be on the cards, given that this eclipse is occurring at 15 degrees. That rules over siblings as well as extended relatives, such as cousins, aunties, uncles, and so on and so forth. Now, on the 19th of September, Venus is going to enter the sign of Virgo, which means it's going to transit the 10th house. So wherever Venus goes, she bestows some kind of blessing onto us, right? So Venus going through the 10th house can improve your public status. It can improve your reputation. This can see you coming off as more charming, more attractive. If you're wanting to ask your boss or your employer about future opportunities within the company, or about getting a raise or having certain benefits be approved, such as annual leave or just some time off, then this can be a good time to do so. So again, that's the 19th of September through till the 13th of October. On the 21st or 22nd of September, depending where you live in the world, there will be a new moon solar eclipse in your 10th house at 29 degrees. For some of you, it might be 28 degrees and 59 minutes, but let's just call it 29 degrees. So new moon eclipses are all about a new chapter taking place. It's like a powerful new beginning. And because this new moon solar eclipse is opposite Saturn at 28 degrees, to me, it looks like there's a heavy commitment that is being ushered in here or involved with this eclipse. And it appears to me that it's something that you're already aware of, because the eclipse is with the south node. So it's like it entails something from the past, something that's been discussed, right? So the 10th house rules over status of all kinds, career, employment, property ownership, relationship, marital status, and, even parental status as well, and government legal status, meaning, are you a citizen of this country? Are you a permanent resident, right? So this new moon solar eclipse could indicate that there's a new chapter starting here. So for some of you, this could be a new career, a new industry, a new employment agreement, a promotion, a new title, or it could be deciding that your relationship is going to progress to the next level. So going from casual to exclusive, or maybe from exclusive to engaged, or engaged to married, etc., etc., or just deciding that you're wanting to fuse or integrate your life with your significant other even more so. Okay, for others of you, you could be applying for citizenship, for permanent residency, or something else that actually requires government approval. Maybe some of you will be looking at co-owning a property, or purchasing or selling a property. And again, this is another example of perhaps expanding your family further, or finding out that you're going to be a parent again, or a grandparent. And certainly there's many career opportunities that are indicated, right? So not every single Sagittarius is going to get a new job or get a promotion, but what I'm saying here is, if there's something that you want to do, something that you want to pursue, I want to change to this industry. I want to become more qualified. I want to start a business. I want to be self-employed, or maybe I want to work part-time. I want to work casual, or I'd love to work for that company. Then this eclipse, which by the way is like the second new moon that we've had, because we had a new moon in Virgo on the 23rd of August. Anyway, this is like a really potent and powerful time for you to take action and just see opportunities that may come in for you to actually change the trajectory that you have been on. Okay, so on a different note, because not every Sagittarius is going to be affected in terms of career and family, maybe you are going to be having a spiritual awakening where you're realizing what path you want to follow, maybe just aligning yourself spiritually. Some of you could even be just feeling as though you are having an awareness of what the next few months are going to hold for you. So maybe nothing significant is changing right here and now in September, but it's like I'm having clarity about what direction I want to be heading in for the next few years of my life. Okay, so I repeat, this eclipse is occurring on the 21st or 22nd of September, depending where you live in the world. And we are under the effects for at least 2 to 4 weeks before and 2 to 4 weeks after the eclipse. But this new chapter or this new beginning could be unfolding from 4 months to come, or later in 2026. On the 22nd of September, Mars is going to enter the sign of Scorpio, which means it will transit your 12th house until the 4th of November. So Mars in your 12th house could be a time where you're overcoming fears, insecurities. If there are certain addictions or dependencies that you have, then this can afford you the opportunity to overcome those. Okay, when Mars goes through the 12th house, it is a period where we can put a lot of energy and effort and be quite successful in changing our subconscious belief systems and overcoming self-sabotaging behaviors. So on the downside, there may be nightmares with this particular transit, not the whole time, but it's just something to be aware of. And also, because Mars rules over your 5th house, which is sex, love, dating, and romance, and it's in the 12th house. The 12th house is affairs, Sagittarius. So if you are in a committed relationship, there may be the temptation here to cheat. So I'm just warning you, for those of you who are not wanting to do that, you're wanting to stay faithful and loyal, good for you, but just maybe avoid putting yourself in these situations where that may be something that you're tempted to do. In any case, Mars going through the 12th house can actually improve your sex life with your significant other. And also the 12th house is associated with intuition, channeling, energy work, and hypnotherapy. So you may be having, or there may be opportunities for you to develop your own skills in these areas further, or perhaps there's a chance for you to receive like a past life regression or a tarot reading or see a psychic medium, and so on and so forth. So Sagittarius, that's all I have for you for your September horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more content from me in between these monthly horoscopes, then feel free to subscribe to my Instagram and or Facebook channel, which is simply ASTROLOGY. Enjoy your month ahead, Sagittarius, and I'll see you guys in my next video.